Good evening, everyone. Tonight you have joined me by Niest Point. Ooh, that is one dirty lens. Sorry, I've not cleaned it since it was salty last. Anyway, so we are down at Niest Point tonight, and we are not here to get the classic shot. We're here to photograph the wildflowers. Well, fingers crossed anyway. I haven't seen them yet. Let's see if we can find them. So here we are, we're at the lighthouse. Sorry, I'm going to move out the sun a little bit. It's super bright, but we are at the lighthouse now, and the hunt for the wildflowers begins. So I've made it down to the lighthouse now, and it's looking great. But all the other beaches I have been to recently, the wildflowers are everywhere between all the cracks and crevices. There's these beautiful green stems with little pink buds on top. Here, there doesn't seem to be quite as many. But let's see if we can work something out. The conditions are perfect. They are absolutely beautiful. There's no big massive clouds on the horizon that are going to block that last glow. And it's looking amazing. But it only is going to work if I find them wildflowers. Otherwise, I'm just down here capturing the same image I've already captured twice. So, fingers crossed we find them wildflowers. So I've had a little walk around, and there is a few bunches of these little flowers, these little guys, and they are absolutely beautiful. Look at them. But I think because we're on the west coast here and there's not a lot of shelter, these guys are just getting battered and battered. And maybe, looking at the size of these buds, maybe I'm a little bit early, but I think there's something we can do here. There must be something. So what I'm starting to think is I need to try and find points like this where the lines in the rock are leading towards the flowers, and I can use them as leading lines up into the lighthouse. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to cut off this section of water underneath. I do love my water in my images, so maybe even them flowers down there, they may be the ones that I need to capture. But I'm going to have a little walk around, maybe get my camera out and see if I can put some compositions together. Fingers crossed. I've got a bit of a oh-so feeling about this one. I had super strong before I arrived, but there's just not enough flowers. But we'll still make something, I'm sure. So I have been testing out a little composition, and I think it might work, it might not. I'm going to do a few test shots just to make sure. But before I do, while the sun is blocked by a cloud and I've got no light, I'm going to give you a little bit of a run through of what I am doing. So for this composition, I've decided to put my camera pretty high, and I'm going to be doing a vertical panoramic. I've got these nice lines, these nice triangular lines, these lines cutting across the rock, curving around the rock. And then just here is I've got this little ball of buds and green stuff, and it almost makes a nice sea around towards the flowers. And then just to help balance the image out, I've got another one just on this side. And this will be my first composition here. And I'm going to focus on this one, so hopefully this will all be nice and sharp. And then as I pan up, I'll focus on the lighthouse, and I'll make sure that's nice and sharp. And you never know, it might pay off, and it might also look terrible. But I've still got about half an hour now until the sun goes down, so I've got plenty of chance to work it out. So there's shot number one. not convinced about this. I think when there's more flowers, this is going to be much better. So before the sun gets too low and it's too late, I think I'm going to head along to another little spot, which in these conditions should be pretty amazing. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly pack up and move on to the next location, and that's where I'll see you next. And this is where I've ended up. Now, I walked a long way that way, but it smelt too much and the composition wasn't as strong. There were certain elements I didn't like so much, but I decided to come here. I'll show you why. So at this point, there's a few things I really like. One is this rock just over here, leading on to that rock just over there, leading on to that huge cliff, that massive cliff. And then on the horizon line, sorry, on the land, you can't see the horizon line, but below the horizon, below the lighthouse, that's where the horizon line starts. Also, check out that cloud and how it's curling round above Niest Point. I think that if it stays there by the time the sun sets, which it probably won't, if it does, will be perfect. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a safety shot now with that cloud above, so at least I've captured it. So I've captured my test shot and it's looking pretty sweet. I've got to say, everything's nice and sharp, dialed in, and now it's just a case of waiting for the right time now. This is going to be a one-shot trip and I'm putting all my money on this composition. So fingers crossed it pays off. But what I am going to do in the meantime is I'm going to give you a little time lapse so you can watch it change. Probably guessed it, as I do. Right, fingers crossed that looks good. But as I suspected, that cloud was not going to stay there for long. And for clouds coming across, it's not looking great, to be honest. But one thing that is looking great is that light. My God, it is beautiful. And I cannot wait to see how good it's going to get, because it is only going to get better. I hope you enjoyed that bit of a time lapse. But I'm still going to be waiting a little bit longer before this composition comes into line. But wow, what a beautiful evening, and so unusual. There's barely any wind, like barely any. The wind seems to be coming from the east this time, which is great for me as I'm sitting on the west coast and I've got huge cliffs behind me to block it all the way. But I'm going to sit and chill a little bit longer, enjoy a bit of that sunshine, and wait for this light to really kick off. So unfortunately, the last of the clouds I am going to get are right above me right now. So this is probably going to be the shot of the clouds, and I might be able to enhance the colours slightly in Photoshop, but if you do too much, it just looks awful. So I'm going to talk you through what I'm about to do. So for this shot, I'm going to do a 3-shot panorama. I'm going to look at my histogram. I'm going to slightly drop my exposure low so I can really pull out as much of the colour in them clouds as I can, because I have got no more clouds heading my way. So this is going to be a quick shot. This is going to be a 3-shot panoramic. This is going to be my first one. I've already focused in on the lighthouse using my little technique where I open up my aperture all the way to really fine tune how sharp that is. I'm using this rock on my, it's going to be on the bottom left hand corner of the image, and that's going to sort of guide your eye onto this one and up onto this one. So I'm going to fire off my first image, and that's on L10 f11, which is giving me a nice simple exposure of 1/2 seconds. So now I'm just going to rotate this a little bit. There we are. So I'm starting to see the lighthouse now. So I'm going to lock that off, fire off my next composition, looking at my histogram, making sure it's all good. There we are, looking absolutely beautiful. Them colours are incredible. And I'm just going to fire it off one more time, giving the lighthouse plenty of breathing space so it's not feeling just squished off the end, because at the end of the day, that is the focal point, and that is what we've come here to see, not just the land. And I'm actually going to spin it around a little bit more to give it even more breathing space, because I don't want it to feel squished on the end. I quite like that blank bit of blue sky. Gives an emphasis of where we are. So that is my 4 images, and then in Photoshop I'll stitch them all together, but hopefully, fingers crossed, some more cloud comes my way. I have got this little band of cloud over here, but I'm not sure if that's going to get here in time before the sun sets, as it's getting pretty close to setting now. Right now it's about 9:15, so I've got a little bit of time to wait. That band of cloud never really accumulated, but I did manage to capture a bit of a nice light, and I think I got quite a nice image. Now, I'm not really going to stick around for the lighthouse to turn on, as I didn't get the clouds in the sky and stuff like that, and that is a part of landscape photography. Sometimes it just does not work out, and I don't often do a video where at the end I'm a little bit like meh, but I did get a nice image. And I think the problem is I've shot Niest Point so many times before, so many times, and I'm very lucky that I get to do that. But I think I'm going to finish the vlog here, and I know I didn't really do any wildflowers, but I will be back to that location again at a later date to shoot them wildflowers, because I've seen a picture posted before by a guy called Derek, and it was incredible, and that's what I was hoping to recreate tonight. But unfortunately it didn't work out that way. But it wasn't a total loss. I still got to explore, still managed to capture something different slightly than what I've captured before, and with some beautiful side light. Just a shame there was not really many clouds in the sky. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the vlog, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace.